Damn, that's a big package. That's what she said. I actually don't exactly know how many things are inside, so let's take a look. Okay, count the packages with me. 1, 2, 3. Oh, actually, there's 2 there. So 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 8 packages. That's too many things to unbox in a single video, so in this, let's check out the main product, which is these 2 keyboards. The Aeon Gaming Sentry and the Striker. Let's start with the Sentry, shall we? The smaller one. It's a 67 key keyboard, which is approximately a 65% form factor. It has hot swappable switches, and I asked them to send me one in red and one in brown so we can look at both switches. I believe this one has the red switch, but let's see. Oh, it's much tinier and lighter in person. That's what she said. The volume dial is plastic and it feels fine. It doesn't feel ultra premium, especially given my current keyboards, but yeah, it doesn't feel cheap either. It's light and should be easy to carry in a backpack. It also has spare PBT keycaps, and as you may have noticed, they are pudding style keycaps. If you're wondering what is pudding keycaps, well, just search for a picture of a pudding and look at these keycaps. You see the similarity? Essentially, they are meant for better RGB shine through, that's it. These are wired keyboards, and I like that here the Type-C port is in the middle. I like that, it looks better for aesthetics. Let's plug it in and see the first light up. Oh, there it is. Nice, that looks great. The pudding keycaps do a really good job of reflecting that RGB in a nice diffused way. You can change the RGB modes by pressing function and then tab key. You can see it changes between a couple of modes. The up and down arrow controls brightness, and left and right would be the color. Pretty standard stuff. And this is the smallest keyboard I've used so far. I haven't used a 65% board before without function keys, and it looks absolutely tiny compared to my current keyboard. Now, I prefer function keys on my keyboard, so this won't be ideal for me, but it's great for like a small desk setup or for someone who carries it in their bag all the time. Let's also look at the Striker, see what we have here. As expected, it's a 75% keyboard with 82 keys. And this one they sent me in the KTT brown variant, so it's a tactile switch version. But it's not a big deal really. The switches are hot swappable, so you can easily remove them. I noticed that the Type-C port is on the corner for some reason. I'm not a fan. Like I said, I like it in the middle. So I wish it was center aligned like the Sentry, but oh well. Let's plug this in, see what happens. Oh, there's an interesting boot animation as well for that. Cool. And it has similar PBT pudding style keycaps. It looks nice. In this case, you change the mode by pressing function and home key. That's a difference here. The volume knob is made of metal, so that definitely feels better than the plastic one on the Sentry. Not that it matters, but it's cool. And yeah, if you press the volume knob, it instantly mutes the PC, so that's nice too. It acts like a mute switch and a volume dial. Okay, let's take a closer look at these switches, shall we? There it is, that's the KTT brown. And the Sentry has a red variant, as I mentioned. And with the Sentry, I noticed that, the red switches are not that different compared to, say, Gateron reds. The pins are the same, so you can replace these MX clones with actual Gateron red switches if you have those. So you can directly mount a Gateron red as well and just start using it. It works absolutely fine. The Striker is actually my first brown switch keyboard. I've never used tactile keyboards before, and it feels exactly the way I thought. There's a minor bump when you press the switches, and I'm not a fan. There's nothing wrong with them, that's the way tactile switches are supposed to be, but like I said, I know what I like and I'm a linear guy. I don't like clicky or tactile, I like linear smooth switches. I don't appreciate that minor bump that you feel when you type on these switches. It's fine, it's not a bad experience, and actually I can easily get used to it. But again, I prefer the smoothness of a linear switch. Let's do a quick side-by-side comparison and a sound test, shall we? There's a noticeable difference in weight. Sentry is lightweight only at 700 grams, whereas the Striker is pretty heavy. It comes in at 1.1 kilograms and you do feel the difference. The Striker is slightly more premium one and it has the function row, so I prefer that layout. And actually both of them have software too, so let's check it out. I'll download the Sentry software first, see what we have here. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. You click on a key in the customize section and it'll give you a bunch of options. You can set a macro, a mouse function, you can add a URL shortcut, and you can record your own macros as well. You first write a name and click on that new button. The button should have been called enter or something, but whatever. Once that is there, you click on start record and type whatever you need to type, and then hit stop. You can then play around with the delay and all that. Once you hit apply, the macro is saved, come back to custom, and you can click on any key to assign that macro from the list. And as expected, it instantly works. You can really play around with this and give it to a friend if you want to mess with them. Oh, it does have per key RGB. It's hidden under this user defined section for some reason. So if I click on user defined, then it takes me to a separate screen for some reason. And the mechanics of applying colors is not great. Apparently you select keys first and then select the color, and you have to click on apply button each time. It doesn't automatically take that color. And once you're finished applying to a certain key, you have to remove the selection as well. Yeah, this is not done very well. Ideally, you should just, be able to select a key and apply colors. That's it. So this one takes a little bit more work than expected. But anyway, it's there, so that's good. There is a gaming mode too, where you can block certain shortcuts like the Windows key or Alt F4 to prevent you from accidentally clicking it, I guess. Alt Tab is definitely kind of useful, so blocking that may be good. Let's check out the Striker as well. Oh, I can already see a fancier installation screen because it's a slightly more premium keyboard, right? Okay, there's some part of it that's identified as a threat for some reason, audio record. The software seems to be running, but some aspect of it has stopped. Aeon Gaming, what are you up to, huh? Well, the software is definitely more premium than the other one. It dynamically shows you what color mode you're on and it changes with the RGB of your keyboard. That's instant, wow. And I can go to button settings and assign a function to that key. Macro management works the same way. I guess it's the opposite of micro management. You click on the plus icon, you click on that record button, type a bunch of things and stop it. Maybe it's a little bit better representation of what the macro holds. Oh well. Once it's done, you can go to button settings and assign it to a key. Straightforward stuff. And yeah, it works as expected. Good. And yes, there is a custom per key RGB mode here as well, and this one is much better. It responds instantly. As soon as I click on a key, the keyboard lights up in that same order. This is a lot more fun. It's easier to remove by clicking complete extinction. Oh man, that sounds deadly. But yeah, you get the point. You can color a bunch of keys and make it look however you wish. Anyway, that was a brief overview of the Aeon Gaming Striker and Sentry. Pretty good keyboards. I personally prefer the Striker a bit more, mainly because of the form factor and the slightly more premium feel of it. And when I say feel, I'm mostly talking about weight. I don't know why, but the weight makes it feel a little bit better. It sounds talkier too, as you may have heard. And actually, I'm gonna use this with red switches. Maybe I'll use the Gateron Reds that I have on this, because I'm really not a fan of brown switches. There are tons more accessories that I still have to check out thanks to StacksKB again. I'll make a separate video covering all of the wonderful things they have, but if you're curious already, go and take a look. I'll leave a link in the description to StacksKB.com. They have pretty much everything you need, from keyboards to keycaps, switches, and even custom sets. They even have cool desk mats and mice too, so go take a look. People have asked me what's a good place to buy, keyboard accessories in India, and this seems to be it. I've always recommended other places where these kind of shipping and all that is a little bit complicated. This one basically arrived in 2 freaking days, as if I ordered on Amazon Prime. And there is no way you can get these many varieties on Amazon Prime for decent prices.